All right. Well, we are now live on the social media, so we'll just let that populate here in a few moments. Make sure everything's going good on that end. Looks like we are good to go on that. But all right, looks good. Sounds good to me. All right. Well, welcome to Sunday Night Prep, where we take a look at the broader markets and pretty much work our way down from there. So right now, just kind of taking a little quick peek here on futures. Futures are slightly down already. There is some pressure here on the ES uh, right now because of Asia. China did come out with some news there saying, well, yeah, Hong Kong has fallen 2% in the Asia session, China keeping their benchmark lending rates on hold. So that is definitely throwing some pressure on the Asian markets. If we take a look at the Nikki, let's see, what is that symbol? Dot in Nikki. Let's go over there real quick. Oh, there it is. There's no period in front of it. You can see the Japan market is lower, and so is Hong Kong. So something to kind of keep an eye on until things, progress until our market opens at least. So, yeah, a little bit under pressure here. Of course, last week was a bit wacky there. We pretty much traded sideways all last week between this. It was about 4,006, 4,007, all the way down to 3,908. So that is definitely our range that we need to either break above for the Bulls or break down below for the Bears. Obviously, I am still watching the hourly structure on the SPX, the SPY, the ES, whichever one you prefer to watch there. Structurally speaking, things are still okay. I know last week was definitely a little bit sloppy there. It was pretty much, like I said, it was sideways, and nothing too much changed as far as the undertones go. But momentum still looks good. We still have positive momentum divergences. If we take a peek at the dollar here, that's the one area that we really want to keep an eye on to make sure that uh, things are stabilizing there at least. So if we take a look at the dollar, you'll see that you get a nice little weekly hammer here. If we break to the downside, great. If we break to the upside, just kind of watch out for that. So yeah, that is definitely one of the changes from last week that is happening that we need to keep an eye on for this week. The bonds attempting to play a bottom, that could be questionable in itself. We still got rotation going on, which is still bullish. We do have a lower VIX, which is also still in the Bulls' favor. So we definitely want to keep an eye on that. However, I do have a alert set up on the VX right at about that 27 level. That does seem to be an important spot to either break above or break below. So I definitely want to keep an eye on that 27 spot as far as the VIX goes. But of course, the seasonality of everything does tend to be bullish. But we do want to keep in mind where things are at. As you can see, a few things have become slightly different from last week. Nothing too crazy. The setup is definitely still there for the Bulls to uh, make a year-end melt up. But now we do start to see some cracks within the servers, mainly with the dollar and the bonds. But we need to just continue to refine, double checked our levels, double checked our structure, our momentum of everything, and just really be mindful of where we are in the overall aspect of things. So if we remember going into last week, we were definitely extended on intraday, and as you can see here on the hourly chart, you can see how much air there was between price and the 50 moving average on the hourly. And that's one of the main things that I primarily watch as far as the structure goes. And, now we've just kind of, consolidated through time. Prices caught back up with that 50. And you can see that we've kind of retested that pretty much the entire time last week. And that's, it's a little concerning that we're still just kind of hovering on it. Usually that's not a great sign. And you can see where that 50% retracement and that zone there, that 50% retracement and the 618, that's pretty much where we are at. And if bears want to really stick it to the bulls, that 618 rejection could come pretty harsh. So we want to be mindful of this zone between that 3908 and the 4007 level there. And as you can see, there's also a nice little gap here. Uh, that if we do start to crack down on, if the Asia markets could pressure in, I'm not showing my screen on. There we go. There's my screen. So if the Asian markets here, sorry about that, Facebook and YouTube. There you go. So there's my screen. So as you can see, we're riding that 50 hourly on the SPX, and if we do get that breakdown below this hourly 50, that does give us a chance to come all the way down to that 38 08 mark. So that is, that's a pretty decent drop there. And we want to be mindful of that. And we want to pay attention to our structures and just really kind of take things on a day to day basis. And if you zoom out to the daily, you pretty much can see, where things stand there. Let's see. So let me go over here. Yeah, loud and clear. Thank you, John Penny Slayer. What's going on, man? Split Congress is bullish. Yes, indeed. So we definitely got confirmation there that Congress is going to be primarily Republican. And then, of course, when you have a split division like that, it does make government work a little bit more efficiently. So there's that. Uh, but yeah, overall, I'm pretty much paying attention to the indexes and really the sectors overall in terms of these structures and momentum. I really want to pay attention to those things. If we take a look at the German DAX here, I want to bring up the DAX, Germany. This is a pretty important market. Of course, they're not open until about 3 a.m. Eastern time. But Germany, if we bring it into a 3-week chart, excuse me, a weekly chart, you can see that Germany is, having a really good time as of lately, up 7 weeks in a row. This is wildly extended without a pullback. It does, make things a little, a little shaky because we don't know how well the market is going to handle a pullback. Always stress the importance of it's good to know, when we do get those pullbacks, especially in a bear market, when we do get these bounces, it's important to get a feel of how well the bulls want to dig in their feet and try to maintain key spots here. So the German DAX, yeah, this is extremely bullish. We got a great bullish move over the past 7 weeks. It could use a little bit of a pullback. This is a short week for the US market. So we definitely want to kind of pay attention to the European sessions as well. This is extremely bullish, but a little bit risky because we just don't know how well that the market bulls there are going to handle a pullback. As far as the sectors go, if we take a look at the XLE, our energy names, sure, a nice little double top here potential that we want to pay attention to. As you can see, at the all-time highs. Let's see, we do have a negative momentum divergence that I have listed down here. You can see this green line. We've made, declining momentum, but we have rising price. That is a negative momentum divergence that we want to pay attention to. And that kind of brings me to the point of crude oil. Crude oil is not in the best place by any means. We want to see crude oil at least maintain above 76, maybe even 75. But, it is looking pretty rough here. It does have a daily squeeze that is firing short. You got negative momentum. We got some sell signals here. You can see over here on the hourly chart that, it's pretty busted here. So we do want to pay attention to that. We'll see if we get more sector rotation. Just kind of paying attention to those guys. Although there are still some energy and oil guys that are popping up in my scans. So we just want to play things, a little easy this week. It is a short week, of course. You do get extra dose of theta, especially theta. Yeah, for real, theta. If you're an options trader, theta is going to be a pain in the tail there. So you definitely want to pay attention to that, especially if you're playing weekly options. I definitely suggest go out to the next week, or even just play the monthlies, go out to the December monthlies. But the market does still have this illiquidity to it. So there is definitely that lack of liquidity. I guess that's probably the better term for it. And if we take a look at the XLK, it does have this major resistance zone here between 135 and 137. That is the 100% fib extension. As well as the 618 from the prior swing high. So, XLK definitely has a lot of work there. I would just get be a little bit more cautious as far as, don't get too over positioned in one sector is mainly the big warning there, just because, there is this rotation between the losers and the winners, and the previous winners may lag. And, I also want to pay attention to ARC K. I know it doesn't get, a lot of love, and, Kathy was, this name is like beat up to a pulp, from its highs of about 120, now down to the 30s. It is trying to bottom out here, but we're still making lows. Momentum's trying to base out, but we're just not going anywhere at all with it. You can see here that 33 level is crucial here that we want to pay attention to. Sure, you can play it, just have a good rational stop and respect those stops and play it that way. But we can see that Art K is really trying to base out and try to figure life out. It's not pushing upwards, which is a little bit of an issue there. So the fact that it's basing out, but it's just not getting that upward thrust that you would expect it to is kind of a little bit dubious, if you ask me. So let's see if we take a quick peek here, just a few extra commentary on the SPX. Go into those weekly options. They even introduced the SPY weeklies, or dailies actually, so you can buy daily SPY contracts now, which I think has made a little bit wacky market to say the least. But there's still a lot of action within the shorter time frame options contracts within the SPX. This makes things a little bit uncomfortable. It just makes the market that more illiquid, and that does cut both ways, up and down, for the bulls and the bears. And we still continue to have extreme intraday volatility, and we've seen that day in and day out. So day trading, yes, it continues to be your friend. I know that's a little bit of a bummer, but that's just the nature of the beast right now. Swinging, of course, you can just have a plan in place, have a stop in mind. Don't get married to a position. Always have a plan, your entry, your targets, and your stop loss, and how to execute that properly. And of course, respect that plan. You don't want to diverge against that plan. Stay true to yourself and stay true to that plan, and you should be a-okay. But yeah, just be careful. Just don't get too over position in any one spot. Make sure you're either spread out, or just lightening the load a little bit. If your normal lot size is like, I don't know, 10 options contracts, shorten it down just a little bit. Just take it a little bit easy. That's just my word of caution there, and my own 2 cents. Of course, you don't have to listen to me. That's just all up to you, to be honest with you. But that's going to be my plan, at least. Day trading, yeah, it's still going to be easier given the sector rotation and the lack of trend right now. I think that's the important part. The lack of trend. We don't have a good trend here, especially within the smaller time frames, and this is a little bit, caution to the wind there. As far as these sectors go, yeah, watching financials, I think this is starting to base out and look pretty decent here. I'm getting some good buy signals on it. I'm also getting good signals off the XLV. We've seen it time and time again with Merck. Let's see, UNH, yeah, it's had this problem with trying to break out into all-time highs and failing, and that does kind of bring me to another point, I'm personally going to stay away from all-time high breaks, such as you can see here with Albemarle, how it broke above and just got smashed right back on down. So any of these all-time high names, I'm going to kind of stay away from it for the time being. They're just not maintaining themselves. So I'd rather find things that are basing out and have a good structure and pushing up that way as far as structure momentum goes. So That's another strategy that I am utilizing. I do want to stay focused on a little bit on the metals and, just a little bit caution as far as natural gas and energy. I think those are the two sectors that I'm a little bit more cautious on. I do like utilities. They seem to be doing pretty decent here. Watching Duke. Let's see here. You also got AP, I do believe, American Electronic. Yeah, American Electric Power. That one's looking pretty decent here. Need a good base out above 92, towards 95, and hit that daily 200 there, that red line there. As far as the short side of things, yeah, I think communication sector is on the chopping block here. As far as you got Disney, we also got, yeah, Disney looks like it wants to make another run back down to the lows here. Let's see, T-Mobile was looking pretty decent, so I will give it that one. Let's see, Verizon's also not too bad here. It's mainly so much those really the big boys. Let's take a peek here at Netflix because Netflix has had a pretty good run as of lately, but coming back in some, it did get that nice little earnings pop, and then we refilled that gap and bounced off of that. So yeah, XLC is a little bit wonky. XLY, that gives you your Amazon names. To me, Amazon is short. Of course, we'll get a better idea, of how well, uh, Black Friday sales are. Penny Slayer asking about the US dollar. So yeah, let's take a peek here at the US dollar. Yeah, structurally it's a little busted and a little unsound. You can see here that we're creeping back up to the hourly 50 from the bottom side and just kind of bonking our head on top of it. The one thing about the dollar is, yeah, the structure is down. Momentum has finally busted down here. You can see that, we cracked zero and just kind of flopped from there. It's just bad structure and momentum, and this may imply some indecision here. And I think we do chop around for the dollar. So the main thing here is going to be that weekly candle. For me, as you can see, it's already kind of trying to break above that weekly hammer. And if you get that and you can get some good momentum back above that zero line, then yeah, it could be an interesting spot. But I think it is a tough spot here. I think it just kind of chops around, which could go in favor for the Bulls. Uh, it might. We definitely want to see it break down than break up. But yeah, the dollar has just absolutely been crushed. This weekly candle from a few weeks ago is just pretty much set the tone there, and the daily structure just absolutely gone. But all right, yeah. As far as things go, I do have a lot of healthcare names out there. As far as Johnny John, setting itself up pretty decent here. Room to about, yeah, sure, still a little extended on the daily, but if we can get some more thrust in there, that would give us room to about 178, 180. I like the looks of that. AbbVie is also looking pretty decent here. Also like Merck and LLY. As far as everything else goes, strangely enough, last week I was kind of hating on General Mills, but hey, it turned itself around and recovered very nicely here. Bounced off the weekly 21 EMA structure. It fixed itself on the daily structure here. It's popping above 81. 82 is the high, and as soon as you break above that, you're good to go. Same thing here with Pepsi. It damaged the previous week, and now we're back up to being good. Same thing with Coca-Cola. Coke is a favorite among the stock. That has great dividend name, great long term, and structurally very good. Hourly structure looks great as long as it holds the 50, the hourly 50, that blue line here on your right. I think you're good to go on that. Let's see. I have others. Let's see. We got Walmart. Of course, might want to pay attention to these guys because holy moly, you get a break above that 150.50, and I think you're going on up to about 153. Of course, Target is Sean told me don't do it. Yeah, Walmart's on my personal don't day trade list, so there's that. Walmart, yeah, I think that one's looking pretty good. Now we're starting to see the differences between Walmart and Target. Target definitely getting a little bit busted there. Schlumberger, also on my good list. If you want to start a naughty nice list, nice is Schlumberger. Then, of course, if we talk about John Deere, I like a good John Deere tractor, and there you go. Break above 415. I think you're rocking and rolling. Rather ask once something is on my don't trade list, is it always there? For the most part, yeah. I don't think I've ever removed anything off of my do not trade list at all. So I am watching let's see, software names, specifically like let's see, Payc. I think this name's looking pretty busted. Datadog looks pretty good for some downward pressure moves. So if we get some downward momentum, these are the guys I'm going to be looking at. Datadog. Let's see, Adobe. Looking at Adobe for a little bit of a breakdown there. Let's see, room to about let's see, we'll say 319 at first, and then you got a little bit of a gap fill down towards 301. So that does give you a nice little range. You can see here on the hourly, it's already in that. It's a little bit airy here, so you can clearly see a break below 330, and down you go, 317. Then you get your gap fill all the way down. Pretty good stuff there. Nice levels. Let's see. I got Hood and Coin. Of course, we can bash Hood all day, every day. But here it is. I think it's another good opportunity to short this thing on back down to 857, and then of course Coinbase with the whole Tether situation. Uh, yeah, Tether is the first domino to fall. I'm waiting, or excuse me, not Tether, but FTX. Tether is the last domino I am waiting to fall so that we can snatch up some Bitcoin at some much lower prices. You can see nice little bear flag it's got going on here. Break below that 15K. Yeah, let's send it on down to 12. Then we'll see what happens at 12K. But yeah, Tether waiting for that thing to go to crap, and then we'll see what happens. But as far as Bitcoin, yeah, I'm not willing to suggest that you grab anything for long periods of time. Sure, trade it for short periods of time, but I wouldn't dare hold this uh, you know longer than a day or two. Shoot, things too crazy. There's too much going on every day. There's some kind of negative news about the fallout with the FTX. So we definitely want to pay attention to what the crypto world is doing. Maybe we'll pick up some nice crypto shares at some point. Mining is definitely dead. I think every day I see these miners just selling their rigs or getting rid of their cards. There's no more GPU shortage out there. You can get a GPU pretty easily nowadays. You don't have to scavenge. And although Nvidia is still doing their price gouging because they can for the time being, but that's a different topic of discussion there, if you know me. NEE, sorry, I kind of went off on a tangent there. That might be an interesting spot for a long. If we get a break above 84, looking for about 86 there. Let's see. Apple. Yeah, Apple is actually going to be a little bit on my long list if we can break above 153. 153.60. Uh, I want to retest that 155 area, and then again 157. If we can get a stab at this daily 200, I think that would be pretty decent. Hourly structure, it's a little bit wacky, but I think it's something to work with here. I think a break below that hourly 200 is probably when you're busted here, and you could take it to the downside all the way down to about probably about 144 first would be your first try, but you can probably draw a line here at 147 and go from there, maybe even 146.15. That would be my key levels there. 153.50 to the upside, 147.50, maybe take it a good, maybe an entry level there for a short position there on Apple. So I think that could be pretty juicy there. And like I said, Amazon looks pretty busted for the time being. Of course, that doesn't mean it cannot skyrocket. I'm just saying, if I were to, take a bet, it looks like pressures to the downside. So yeah, let's go retrace our steps here. SPY. Most of the indexes remain the same as last week. So if you remember anything that I talked about last week, just pretty much keep that on your notes there. Nothing really changed. We just had a week of consolidation. The structure, uh, it kind of fixed how things were a little bit overbought and we turned sideways. Uh, you know, we still have some positive momentum divergences going on. I definitely want to watch the hourly 50. As long as that holds, we should be okay. I just don't like how it's just kind of riding it for the time being, and we'll have to see how much pressure the overnight session gets as far as the Asian markets go. My target on the SPY to the upside is 407, 405, 407. That'll give us a test of the daily 200. And then, of course, 410 looks pretty good there. 412, give or take. Let's see. Let's move on to the Qs, the QQQ. This is still the worst index out there, so tech still remains pretty weak. Even though I just said Apple's on my list of longs. We'll keep an eye on things, and I'll give you the levels there. Qs, it still has the bullish momentum divergences. I think that's definitely the main thing that it has going for it. For my taste at least. Um, the possible target is definitely going to be the 300 mark. That is definitely going to be a psychological battle. About 300, sure, 303, and then 308 to 310, and retest this high up here. Let's see. Let me get my drawing out. All right, so there's your 310, 311, and then there's your daily 200 at about 307, 308. So plenty of stuff to work with to the upside. We just have to get there and, of course, uh, eat away a little bit. And, this is definitely the little bit of a make or break spot a little bit for the Bulls. They made this great push over the past few weeks, and to stall out here and fail uh, might leave a sour taste. We definitely don't want to see that. The IWM, second best out there. It's been having its days, of course. We still had the bullish momentum crossovers where the momentum's above the zero line, so that's good. Looking at about 186 and 190, you can see here that 190 level is going to be a crucial spot here. Once you get above 190, it gets pretty interesting all the way up to 195, and then again at 200. 200 definitely played a decent spot for us in the past, so I think that's definitely something to pay attention to. Moving on to the 10-year rate, it's really a tough spot to be in. I don't really want to be involved, with this mess going right here. Same with the TYX, the 30-year. Yeah, just a little bit too tough to call here. I think a lot of stuff is just kind of going on right now. Viewing all the bonds and the rates this week, I think it's just a wait and see. Anything can happen. There's mixed signals all over the place, to the upside, to the downside. It's just generally a tough spot to be in. If anything, we'll just observe it like we mainly do anyway here. The junk bonds, the HYG. As long as this continues to hold 73, the bulls are good. So this is another good thing going for the bulls. That structurally this thing is holding pretty well, and if it can make some strides to the upside, then there you go. There's another win for the bulls there. So we want to pay attention to that. Already touched base a little bit on crude oil. Yeah, a little bit wonky here. Getting some sell signals though. Like I said, you got this daily squeeze on crude oil that's starting to fire short. You also got the negative stacked EMAs here, so we know that the main pressure is overall to the downside here. So crude oil, might be best for a short. I think Infinity, he was paying pretty close attention to it on Friday, I do believe, and had some pretty good things to talk about. As far as the VIX goes, yep, I have my alert set at 27, and we'll take it from there. Of course, it still looks like the pressure is still to the downside, and we want to pay attention to if this does move down to 20. Be aware that is a good spot for the VIX to bounce. Even you can see that we did get a little bit bounce there on 22. So market levels 22 and 20. Just kind of pay attention to see how things respond to those. Of course, as far as the 10-year and the 2-year goes, that is still inverted. Usually that's usually not a good sign. That's not a good thing. So we still want to pay attention to that. It's deeply inverted. Anything can happen. As far as earnings go, it's kind of quiet. Of course, it is a short week. Futu has earnings before the bell. We got Zoom after the bell on Monday. Best Buy has their earnings on Tuesday, along with Dollar Tree and Dick's. Let's see. Yay, go Dick's. And then we have John Deere before the bell on Wednesday, it looks like. And I think that's it. So we got a few retail names out there that are, kind of interesting to pay attention to. Best Buy, of course, has been turning sideways. DKS has been, kind of sideways for the most part. We've traded it here and there on shares. Still just trying to find its way over between 118 and 102, 100 mark. Yeah, just a little bit tough spot here with earnings coming up, of course. And then, like I said, Futu, China names have been an absolutely tear. Baba had a fantastic day on Thursday. Same thing with Futu and JD, of course. Big monster candles here, big monster days. If you're able to catch that on Thursday, I don't know. We certainly had plenty of members that did. Let's see. As far as the economic calendar goes, tomorrow, nothing, thank goodness. But Tuesday we got Mester, we got George, and we have Bullard all talking on Tuesday. Just get them all out. Wednesday we have durable good orders. We got the U.S. Services PMI. We get home sales data, and most importantly, we get FOMC meetings minutes from the previous meeting that they just had. So that's definitely going to be important. We'll get to see if there's any kind of disagreement between any of them, and maybe just a little bit more on what they think. The last FOMC meeting, uh, it was a little bit wild, and Powell just tried to shut things down real quick there with his commentary. So it'll be interesting to see what those minutes have to say there. Thursday, of course, is a holiday, so markets will be closed. Happy Thanksgiving. And then Friday, nothing major going on at all. So let's see. Then that kind of brings me to what I'm really watching at. I like Johnny John. I like Pepsi. I like KC, AbbVie. CSCO looks pretty decent here. General Motors, nice little squeeze, as well as momentum uh, and some buy signals here. I would like to see a push up to about 41.65 and then get a nice little bump up to about 52 and a half. As far as the downside, Snow, Datadog, we already talked about those a little bit. Coin, Trade Desk, Airbnb, any software names. I know Airbnb is not a software name, but you kind of get the drift there. CRM. Let's see here. Let's see. Square. That looks pretty decent for a downward move there. Looking for a push all the way back down to 62, maybe even 60. Fill that gap there a little bit. Let's see. I like Coke. I've already mentioned some of these guys. RTX had a great, very interesting day on, what was that, Thursday? Yeah. Needs to get above that 97. If you get above the 97, 98, possible move to that 100 level magnet. Let's see. LMT, of course, doesn't look too shabby in its own right. Needs to break above, let's see, what is that, about 485 for a nice push towards about 495. Once you get above 495, well, that is a new all-time high breakout. Just be careful on that. 500 could be a good psychological level to play with. We'll see. Goldman, if you're looking at some financial names, Goldman's not too bad. You had a nice, really good push up here. Got pretty extended on the daily, but now you've kind of come back in. You can see here on the hourly where it's uh, came in, consolidated through time, just kind of gearing up to move on up to the upside. Let's see here. Let's take a look at John. Sorry about that. I didn't see your comment there. Do I think cannabis stocks will get its time to shine again? You know, I think it's just too political and there's too many people involved for my taste. If you take a look at the marijuana ETF MJ, sure, the structurally speaking, it's got decent structure. It's got, okay momentum. It's a little bit in la la land on the hourly. Let's take a peek here at the weekly here. Weekly trying to come up, maybe trying to base out here, hold 4.5. Let's take a peek at Tilray because I know that's one of the big ones. Tilray, you already got that weekly squeeze shaping up, so I guess that's good. Yeah, for me, it's just too political, too many hands involved. It's one day you could have a good report that they passed new laws somewhere, and then the next day you'll see that it got shut down or something. Who knows? But yeah, for me personally, the whole marijuana sector is just a little bit wacky for me. That doesn't, this is a good little move here, though. We'll say that. You got a nice little trend here going on. So as long as you hold that trend, sure, looks good. Have your stops in play and just raise your stops as you go along if it continues to progress. As you can see, though, it did get that initial rejection at the daily 200. That should have been expected. You get that first initial rejection, come back in and try again and see if you can get some good momentum thrust through that. Budweiser, I'm curious to see how well Budweiser is going to be because of the whole Qatar. They banned beer at the World Cup, which Budweiser's a pretty big sponsor of FIFA. So, a little bit awkward situation there. We'll see if there's any fallback on that. But the chart looks great. You did get this sideways move with everything else consolidate through time. We'll see if we get a nice little bump up. I wish the histogram was a little bit better there, but overall not too shabby by any means. Caterpillar, another name that I'm looking out for here. Break above. Let's see. Let's go to the weekly chart here. Yeah, you can see it needs to kind of clear this 237 mark for a push up to about that 246 highs. Let's see, not too bad at all there by any means. And then, of course, I'm watching Nvidia. They did get a nice little run up, kind of falling back in. Not my favorite name out there. Where there's been some better movement there on TSM. Of course, Warren Buffett is involved there. AMD is pretty much the same thing, structurally speaking, as far as Nvidia goes. On semiconductors, a little bit of a double top here, and just kind of came in, bounced off the daily 21. I think this one kind of floats under the radar. It's kind of interesting to me. I need to do a little bit more research on them, but I think they do benefit a good bit from that new semiconductor bill that they just passed and signed into law to get things going. Let's see, Rivian. This looks like it's going down to test the lows here. Break below, what's that, about 30? You're looking for a test of about 27 and a half on Rivian. Uh, Capital One here needs to break 97.60 for a move down to 93. It looks like maybe even further, maybe even down to that 90 level. So yeah, that could be pretty nice. I don't mind Berkshire B. Uh, Needs to break 313 for a push to about 320. So if you're looking for a financial name, there you go. Burke B and Goldman, not too bad at all. Let's see, LLY was another healthcare name on my radar. And let's see here. Already mentioned some of the software names. Block is also on my radar for a downward pressure move here. But all right, opening it up to you guys. Do you have any questions, comments, ticker requests? Don't be shy. Name them out, and we will take a peekaboo. Peekaboo. I don't know why I keep saying that word. I feel like there's better choice of words than peekaboo. Knee. Knee? What was that? That Monty Python movie? You are now the knights who say knee. NEE. Yeah, NEE is on the watch list for my own watch list that we might keep an eye on. Needs to, break back above this 83, 85, 84, 50 zone for a push back into 86.44. Structurally, it's doing pretty decent here. We're above the 8 and 21 EMA. The weekly 21 is a little flat here, so I would like to see that bump to the upside. We do have dividend payout. What is that? Sometime next week, it looks like. So we want to be mindful of that. But the hourly structure looks very clean. You can see here, break above that 83.85. You get a nice little move to 84.75. Uh, but it's busted if it goes below that. We'll say, yeah, I don't like it below 81.61. It gets a little airy or hairy, down to about that 78 mark. So below 81.60, yeah, I'd be a little bit skeptical of it. But if you get a break above this 83.85 to 84.50 zone, I think you're looking pretty good for a good upside move up to about. I don't need that drawing tool. I need my other drawing tool, my leveler. There you go. About 87. Then you get a nice little gap fill up here to about 88.36. So yeah, I think NE is a good one to keep on your radar. You got good levels to the upside, as well to the downside to kind of play around with. I like that a lot actually. So that will probably be on the watch list for the entire week, to be honest with you. Clorox, yes, good old bleach is not what it used to be during the COVID days. I'm just kidding. Uh, Seriously though. All right, so yeah, a little bit sideways. It's trying to base out here. Momentum. Hey, it's turned positive, so that's good. Kind of liking it above this 150 mark. You got this mother bar problem here. This big red candle here. You really need to take care of all those guys for me to get interested in. Now, I will say the hourly structure is not too bad at all. Momentum's good, structure's good. You're above the hourly 50. You've come in and you've tested the hourly 200. So you're maintaining above those key spots there, those key moving averages. You just need to break out above that big juicy red bar there, above 150. Above 150, what are we talking about? Let's see. Above 150, yeah, you're getting really nice up there, about 155, 156. 150, 160. Yeah, look at that. And then you got another gap fill up here. Looks good, actually. I like Clorox. Not too bad. I like it above 150 for sure. Thank you for the good look. That's a good one. Do I wait for the break of 150 or get in on the hourly 200? Good question. For me, I would like to see a break of yeah, 150 for me. I'm probably a participant there. Or what you could do is see if you can get a little bit of an entry on the hourly 50. And then you play caution if you break below, and then of course if you break below the hourly 200 and you close below the 200, yeah, then I'm not a player at that mark. So that would be about 134. I'm not a player here, but I'm a player around 143 at the hourly 50. Neutral between, and then of course I'm definitely liking it above 150. Let's see here. Yeah, I probably wouldn't wait for it to get to the hourly 200. I'd just be a little bit more cautious as far as that goes. Let's see. Cisco, yeah, Cisco, great earnings report. I mean, Jesus, good base out here. You had a nice little look at this base here. Just let me draw. Let me get the drawing here. Yeah, look at that. Nice base breakout, nice Darvis box breakout, and you're off you go up and above the hourly, the daily 200. Yeah, a nice little bull flag here too on the hourly, just kind of shaping up here. I really like this move here. You sure a little bit extended? A pullback would be nice for an optimal entry for me, but you really don't have too much in the way up until about 50. 50 is going to be a sticky situation. It's going to be a lot of bears are going to be mindful of that spot as well. You do have some historical dart pool stuff there to, keep an eye on. But overall, looks great. Nice bullish move. You're recapturing the daily 200. Momentum is positive. Your EMAs are nice and stacked there for the most part. The 8 is above the 21, and the 21, I'm sure, is above the 34 at this point. Yeah, a little bit slow mover, so just kind of be patient with it. For me, my stop would be here at about that 43.40 mark. Then I think you get a little bit bearish below that. But overall, good stuff. I would like a little bit of a dipperoo here. But this breakout was fantastic. So yeah, if you got in, if you played that breakout here, ooh, great stuff, great play. But let's see here. Make sure I didn't miss anything. If you have any more ticket requests, feel free to shout them out as I double check to make sure I didn't miss anything at all. Let's see. Let me double check the news here. Make sure I didn't miss anything. Let me just check that. Let's go over here, see what's going on. Nope, that's not what I want. I think that's what I want. Yeah, no. Okay. Yeah, I think we're good to go as far as the news go. Let's double check. Let's double check the futures here. If I can find my proper screen, that would be lovely. Sorry about that. Just kind of all over the place. Can't find my mouse. There it is. All right, let me check. Let me check the ES real quick. All right, ES. Yeah, pushing lower. Let me go over here to a different screen. Yes, just a little bit under pressure there as far as things go. Nothing too crazy. Nasdaq futures down about 0.3%. S&P futures down 0.3%. Dow futures taking a little bit of a hit there, down 0.3% as well. Everything else still kind of in alignment there. But let's see. I think that does it for me. I do believe we covered all the main sectors. We know where we need to be. We really need to see the bulls break above 4,007, 4,010. Once you get above that, sure, I think the overall target, we can definitely play around with that 4,100 level. To the downside, we don't really want to bust 3908. Below 3908, it gets a little bit hairy, down to about 3855, and then of course 3810. Those are going to be my main levels there on the SPX. Just kind of watch those structures on the hourly chart. I think that's definitely been a good way to play things nowadays. Day trades continue to be your friend, of course. Swings, smaller size, have your stops in play, respect those stops, and respect your trading plan and trade accordingly. Short week this week. We'll see what happens. Intraday volatility. Anything goes. We'll see what the seasonality can do. Is see if it can hold up and go from there. Take it one day at a time. Yeah. All right. Any other questions, comments? Oh, thank you, Rather. I appreciate y'all hanging out with me tonight. Thank you for hanging out with me, taking time out of your Sunday to come hang out and look at some charts and go over a few things. Appreciate it, Shaman. I don't know where we got that emote, but Lord. All right, and everybody out on social media, I appreciate you guys. Be sure to check us out at stockdaz.com. Feel free to take a peek at the weekly memberships that we have just released doing. Give us a try and get a feel for what we're about. We pretty much have everything and anything for everyone. So whether you're a day trader, swinger, if you like sports bettings, if you like crypto market, I mean we got it all. So for experienced traders, new traders, you got it. We got you covered, no doubt about that. But yeah, appreciate y'all coming out, hanging out with us tonight, and we will catch you guys later on. Peace out. Thanks, guys.